Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Berlant with a fire situation report for today, October 24th, 2016. Now, even with some cooler temperatures as we are well into October, firefighters still responded to 86 new wildfires last week all across the state. Now, while in Northern California, fire conditions have started to decrease from what they were this summer, down in Southern California, we saw strong winds, high temperatures, gusty temperatures, low humidity, all creating extreme fire danger across much of the Southland. Now, fortunately, there were no major fires that ignited from those red flag warnings, but there were several red flag warnings last week due to Santa Ana winds in Southern California. Thank you for doing your part to help prevent fires during those wind conditions. Now, we're going to switch right over to our statewide fire map where you can see right now there's really just one major fire, large fire that's burning in California. This is the Jacobson fire. It started last Thursday in the Sequoia National Park. Just to kind of give you some idea, here is Porterville over in Tulare County, Visalia over here, Fresno up here, and this is on the Sequoia National Forest just above Camp Nelson. This fire so far has burned just over 1,000 acres. Here's some photos taken by the U.S. Forest Service. Now, according to the Sequoia National Forest, this fire has burned 1,075 acres. There is no containment reported. The fire is burning in the Golden Trout Wilderness on the Sequoia National Forest in Tulare County itself. But again, here you can see some of those pictures of where the fire is been burning, a very large fire later part in the year. Crews, though, are working to battle this fire. Now, the weather this week is again going to be much cooler than we have seen during the past summer. In fact, look at temperatures today. Right now, 61 degrees in Redding, 64 in San Francisco. Nearly 80 degrees, but just hovering below that 80-degree mark in San Diego. Skipping over to the Friday, not much change. We're going to definitely see a much cooler week. Some parts of warmer temperatures in the Inland Empire area, in the deserts in San Diego and Imperial counties, but still temperatures are going to be mild this week. But what we are going to start to see is some rainfall. We are going to see rain on and off much of this week through almost all parts of California. Heavier rain up here, you can see Eureka. We could see 4 to 6 inches of rain along the north coast. The coast, or the Central Valley itself, could see an inch or two. Down in Southern California, we're not expecting a lot of rain in this system, maybe half an inch, maybe an inch in some parts of Los Angeles, but definitely not going to see significant rainfall in Southern California. But this rain combined with the rainfall that we saw just a week ago, definitely going to help lower the fire risk and our conditions across California. So definitely rain is doing much better to help lower that fire risk. But we do want to talk about, we are expecting to see some wind conditions that will elevate our fire risk. Potentially, that could be the case along the eastern Sierra. We could see wind 30, 40 miles an hour. A lot of this has to do with the fact that as the storm system moves into California, just ahead of the storm, that's where we're going to start to see potentially some very strong gusty winds. You can see pockets of wind. We could see upwards of 60 miles an hour. So if you're not having rainfall, you're in some of these areas, you definitely want to be careful, especially in parts of Northern California where the outdoor burning permit suspension has been lifted. When it's windy out, you don't want to be burning. You want to take that extra precaution. Though the rain may be coming shortly behind this wind, you definitely still want to take some precaution to be extra careful, extra safe, even with temperatures cooler than we would normally see. Now, we're coming up to some very important days for kids, and that's Halloween. Here are some safety tips we want to talk a little bit about for Halloween to avoid any injuries or potential fires this Halloween. First, when you're picking a costume, avoid loose or baggy costumes. Anything that could easily catch on fire or you could trip on. Those could be safety concerns. Use makeup versus a mask. That way you're not obstructing your vision when you're out trick-or-treating. You don't want kids to fall. They could land on a jack-o'-lantern that potentially has a candle, though we'll talk about ways that you can get around having a candle and lower that fire risk. But it's really important to add glow sticks or reflective tape to the costumes. That way you're making sure that your kids are visible outdoors. Now, as I mentioned, candles and jack-o'-lanterns. Find another way. You can use LED candles. They provide just as much light, and the risk for fires is minimal if non-existent. So you really want to use those LED candles, whether it's in the pumpkins themselves or even if you use paper bags. A lot of people will use paper bags, put a candle inside of it. That can easily start a fire. So really make sure you're using those LED candles to light up your jack-o'-lanterns. And most importantly, and this goes for any holiday, if you do use decorations, make sure you're not blocking any fire exits. You want to have clear ways in and out of your home should something happen. So make sure this Halloween that you take that extra time to ensure your escape routes aren't blocked and to ensure that you don't have any open flames with your costumes. Now, lastly, we really want to talk as we're here at the end of the season for the peak of fires. Does not necessarily mean we're out of fire season, even though temperatures are lower and we're starting to see some more rainfall. The risk of fires still exists. 86 new wildfires last week goes to show that we're still going to continue to see this trend due to the drought and due to other issues, that fire risk is still elevated. However, as we move out of our peak of the season in much of California, we're not going to have the fire situation report every single Monday. You can still stay connected with us as breaking news happens or as fires occur in your area, either on Facebook, Twitter, or even on Instagram. If you don't follow us on either of these three, make sure you do. That's where you can keep up with the latest information. For emergencies, you can always visit our website at fire.ca.gov. And this is a great time as temperatures are cooler to evaluate your fire safety plans. And you can do that at our website, readyforwildfire.org. Now, we want to end today with a very special memorial and a special tribute. This week is the 10-year anniversary of the deadly Esperanza fire down in Riverside County, taking the lives of 5 U.S. Forest Service firefighters. 10 years later, these 5 are not forgotten. While that fire burned 40,000 acres, destroyed 34 homes and 20 outbuildings, these 5 people will still be in our hearts and our memories. So we'll end our fire situation report remembering those of Engine 57. That's the latest on the fire situation here in California. I'm Daniel Berlant. Please have a fire-safe rest of your couple months.